What if all that personal development guidance is really making things worse? We've established an entire system around the notion that we're basically damaged, ceaselessly tweaking ourselves like damaged machinery. Yet here's the revolutionary reality. The fundamental assumption that you require repair is what's truly damaged. Imagine a sea wave suddenly becoming conscious and worrying because it's not solid like a stone, because it constantly shifts configuration. The wave would endeavor to fix itself and gain permanence. How nonsensical would that seem? Yet this is exactly the way we humans function daily. The wave is already ideal, but we've indoctrinated ourselves that we're damaged enterprises requiring constant overhaul. We've been presented with an inside-out story. You possess issues requiring resolution, aspects requiring improvement. And if you work sufficiently hard and discover correct technique, you can eventually repair yourself and become your intended self. This narrative is so threaded through our culture that we scarcely doubt it. We embrace our position as eternal projects under construction. But what if this core belief is wholly upside down? Here's something shocking. You are never flawed, never partial, never a difficulty needing answers. The sole element needing fixing is a conviction that you require fixing. Think about nature. When you witness a tree, you don't rate its limbs as substandard. The tree is splendid precisely as it appears. It flourishes and accommodates its environment, yet doesn't arrange gatherings about self-advancement. We as people have acquired this skill to become our own assessors and administrators. We glance in the mirror and perceive a renovation project needing labor. Trees develop understanding as well, discovering which direction to grow toward light, how to extend roots further down. But trees don't torture themselves about inadequate height. They react naturally to what existence presents. The divergence as trees rely on their nature, while we've been conditioned to distrust ours. We've been taught to consider our impulses unreliable, our reactions likely incorrect. Thus we develop an inner critic examining all we do. Am I accomplishing sufficient work? Am I progressing at the right speed? It's enervating, like harboring an obsessive manager in your thoughts, perpetually judging you insufficient. Yet this manager isn't your true self. It's incorporated criticisms, acquired benchmarks from parents, instructors, and civilization. You've absorbed a panel, causing you to feel constantly insufficient. However, who notices this board? Who witnesses these evaluations? Something in you watches this drama without being caught up. That essence is what you truly are. You're not the concepts about who you are. You are the awareness in which all this appears like atmospheric conditions across the heavens. The sky is never harmed by atmospheric conditions. Storms emerge and fade, but the sky persists unlimited. Likewise, ideas of insufficiency arrive and depart, yet your being stays unchanged. You can make changes and grow without the narrative that you're fundamentally incomplete. Observe infants learning to walk. They tumble continuously. Do they create narratives about being defective? Not at all. They get up and try again because walking looks fun. Learning occurs organically, joyfully, without self-criticism. Two methods of transformation exist. One supposes you're flawed, like a mechanic fixing a broken engine. The other sees you're already intact, like a gardener relying on organic growth. The technician battles while the gardener partners with existence. Most advancement approaches are mechanical. We manage ourselves like devices needing enhanced programming. Yet, what if you're more like a garden possessing innate intelligence? When you place confidence in this wisdom, you cease battling yourself. Instead of cramming yourself into patterns, you enable your structure to develop. When you finish fighting against yourself, you unleash enormous vitality for living. Contemplate how much power you waste critiquing yourself. Imagine if that force were usable for being here now. The individual who understands their complete channels force into creation and discovery. Here's something astonishing. When you stop endeavoring to fix yourself, Things you thought needed fixing often take care of themselves. When you cease generating self-judgment, your clarity settles. A great portion of what we believe is flawed results from attempts to fix what was never imperfect. You may think you carry an anxiety problem and employ techniques to solve it, yet this effort births more anxiety. What if there's nothing wrong with feeling anxious sometimes? When you end viewing anxiety as a problem, it often dissolves naturally. We've been trained to think we ought to feel specific ways: joyful, assured, serene. But feelings are the meteorology of awareness. Occasionally turbulent, occasionally tranquil. This isn't a defect. This same concept applies to character features we see as defects. Perhaps you're reserved in a society celebrating extroversion. Rather than mending these features, appreciate them as your special contribution. Oak trees don't attempt to become pine trees. Rivers don't express remorse for not being mountains. When you embrace your essence fully, something wonderful unfolds. You cease depleting vitality, being what you aren't. This doesn't suggest you never develop, but learning comes from curiosity rather than inadequacy. You expand because growth is delightful. Children don't work on imagination. They just envision organically and easily. We developed skepticism toward innate intelligence. We've changed our internal life into an enterprise with reviews. But your original nature is still there, waiting for you to recall you were never damaged to begin with. Here's a paradox. The harder you strive to enhance yourself, the more you confirm that you require enhancement. Yet, when you realize you were never damaged, evolution happens naturally, without strain. When you trust your true nature, evolution happens like flowers opening, exquisitely in their own moment. This isn't resignation, but trust in the intelligence that beats your heart. So here's a suggestion. Conduct an experiment. For a single day, and trying to correct yourself. Regard that day as a present to welcome. Greet emotions without modifying them. Observe thoughts without evaluating. Approach yourself like a beloved friend, with caring, tolerance, and good humor. You may discover you're perfect just as you are. This is a hidden truth. You were never broken. You're already whole, already intact, already adequate. You're not removed from existence. You are life showing itself as human, and life is a dance of joy. We're all waves on the same ocean, each singular, each perfect, each momentary. When you grasp this as living reality, you can finally sink into being who you are. Your real self is more beautiful than your conceived ideal. You don't need to become more like life, because you are existence pretending to be you. The wave is the sea playing the game of being a wave. If this message touched something within you, I sincerely invite you to subscribe to the channel. Follow for more material that questions mainstream thinking about personal growth and self-enhancement. And write a comment below with the word whole to show me you're prepared to embrace your total, intact nature just as you are right now.